Thanks, everyone. Look, I'd like to introduce you to Simon Chin. A lot of you'll know Simon. Simon's been running our marketing department now for...
I'm going to say 5 years.
I was going to say more. Was it 2018?
Yeah, something like that. Queen's Road.
Queen's Road. Yes, the good old days. I think that was a 3-person office. I remember signing, I just might digest just a little bit. I remember signing a contract with Porsche, and we had more signatures from Porsche Germany than we had staff in the office, which was pretty cool. But Simon not only has been working with us, but has become a very close friend over that time, and someone I value immensely. We decided when we were growing the business that we would bring experts, and you guys that were here last year would have heard from 66, who sort of did a lot of work in our product team. And one area that I knew I was pretty weak in was in that digital marketing space. So I got introduced to Simon via Matthew Toms, I think.
That's right.
And who was one of our first shareholders with Stephen Porch, which Porch is here somewhere. And straight away, we worked out marketing people know nothing about car parking.
That's true.
And car parking people know nothing about marketing. I think it's probably true as well. But you know, along the last 6 or 7 years, we've put together a reasonably good operation. I think Simon, and what we've done is outsource our entire marketing team. So Alyssa, who a few of you people would have been working with in getting information from presentations and things like that, works for Simon, is our marketing manager, but based in Perth. It's all a little bit confusing how it comes together, but it allows us to put experts in that area, and they work with us like they're part of our team anyway. We treat them like they're part of the team, and it's just been really good. As we look to expand into the US, Simon come to me with an idea around a product that he's been working in the AI space, and we thought it'd be worthwhile having a bit of a chat around that. So I'm not going to talk about it because I know it's good for us, but I don't know how it works. I'm going to let you tell us a little bit more about it.
Yeah, thanks, Mossy. So FlowState, just a quick background, we focus predominantly now on marketing automation, and a lot of the work that we do for Ubi Park is centred around HubSpot, which is a main pillar of the business. So we think about HubSpot, we're talking about leads coming into the business from a sales point of view, how that's managed through an automation sequence, marketing, of course, and also project is tied to that too. Mossy is right, we have been working on something we call data as a service for quite a while now, and I went to Mostyn about 2 or 3 weeks ago, just to give him an update on something we're calling BuySignal, which is the latest service offering from FlowState. And it does tie in really closely, luckily today's topic being AI and data, and I think offers a really good opportunity for anyone who is looking to tap into the US market. So this is a US focused product that we are rolling out. So essentially BuySignal, as you can see from the screen there, is the ability to obtain real-time buying signals from customers in your market. And we're able to deliver those leads at an instant level. So on the same day, anyone looking for any particular product or service. So I came to Moss and I said, look, this is something we're working on. I'd love to have a chat to you about it. And that's sort of where our discussion started. But just to explain it a little bit further. So if you're in the US and you're looking for any particular product or service, we have the ability to identify those people at a business and a consumer level. So I've got some use cases here, but typically businesses right now are finding leads or customers through one of these methods you can see on the screen. So typical social media ads, Google ads, cold email, direct email, and maybe even canvassing, which is a bit more old school, but still very effective. So if you're doing that, you're probably looking to find customers, and if you're lucky, maybe 3% of those people that you're looking to talk to are ready to buy at that point in time. So really it's quite an inefficient way of marketing, even though you think you're targeting people who are in your market and looking for what you do. So really, on the flip side, there's probably 97% of people who aren't ready to buy from you just at that point in time. So we have a solution where BuySignal is able to give you the intent of someone in market and this is a little analogy that our copywriter in-house put together, but it's kind of like Google telling you who's looking for what in real time. So it's very powerful from a marketing point of view, and we call that BuySignal. So it removes a lot of the guessing when it comes to who might be interested in any product or service. So I've got some examples in a second, but you could be looking at travel, you could be looking at the sports niche, you could be looking at parking, prop tech. I was talking to Tom just before about, maybe finding startups who are looking for funding, right, in the prop tech space. We're able to identify that and provide those leads to businesses. You got any questions so far, Mossy?
Well, I know I'll be wasting a lot of time and money hitting that US market being so big. So obviously what was appealing to me when you said this, so tell us a little bit more how you're getting that data of how people are actually looking for the product.
Yeah, great question. So, and I think just a quick segue. So a lot of the discussion so far today has been fantastic around data that's in a database that we can see signals there for people that perhaps are already part of that CRM system. What BuySignal is the ability to look even further up the top of the funnel, so to speak, from a marketing point of view, at people who are perhaps showing awareness or consideration for a particular product or service. We're able to then get those leads into a business to then be able to work them. I will get to your question though, Mostyn. I will skip through a few slides too, because I want to go straight to your question on sort of how this works. But right now, BuySignal's working in all the verticals you can see here, and that covers a vast array of verticals, anything from travel to e-com all the way through to digital agencies. So there are use cases for pretty much any business who just needs more leads. So I'll just skip through here, and this is essentially what BuySignal is. So it is AI powered, hence the link into today's discussions. How it works is on a daily basis, we're able to analyze over 60 billion URLs in real time, and from that, we're able to identify intent. So this is people searching for anything that they might be looking for on their journey through the web. And we're able to pick up on those signals using AI to be able to provide those leads to businesses. I might stop there.
I'm sort of half glad it's not in Australia yet.
Yeah, soon to come.
I don't know if I want you. I don't know what I was searching last night, but I'm not quite sure. I want you knowing.
Look, and I think from a marketer's point of view too, this is all about user experience. So at the end of the day, when we're working with brands, we're not looking to create a negative experience for that business when they're looking to present what they do as a product or service. What we're looking to do is really just enhance that experience, let's say for Ubi Park. And the way BuySignal is able to do that, if we're able to present a compelling value proposition to someone who's actually in market and looking for what Ubi Park does, as an example, that makes their experience and with Ubi Park that much stronger, because they're thinking, well, I am looking for parking solutions as a property owner, and lo and behold, here's Ubi Park, and that value proposition looks really compelling to me. So it's about really refining that user experience too from a marketer's point of view, because this data can be quite powerful.
I think for us, and why we're investing into it in the US, is it's such a big market, and trying to sort of be across everything like we are here in Australia is nearly impossible. And so this is going now, hopefully able to focus us on what's actually going to turn us a profit, I suppose, or be worthwhile in our sales processes and our marketing processes, rather than the scattergun approach that you might have had and may have had going into the US the way we have.
Yeah, absolutely, because I think traditional ad platforms rely heavily on interest-based targeting, which is good to a degree. You know, we all have our interests and likes. But what this is doing is actually picking up on in-market intent, as I've mentioned, about people actively searching for something that they're keenly interested in right now. And from a marketing point of view, the ability to be able to deliver those leads to the business in real time, to then integrate into any of their ads platforms or the ways in which they reach the market through different channels, then presents the communication piece in front of that lead, for want of a better word, in real time. And you can see there are a couple of sort of major platforms that we do integrate in directly.
Yeah, and I think the sales process that we go through, and talking to other salespeople in the room, sometimes it's good timing, but there's been no real, you put in the CRM to follow up in a month's time or 3 months' time, and hopefully you're not bothering people too much, but if you've got those touch points, then there's a chance that something's changed since the last time you spoke, and if you're lucky enough and you get that timing, but sometimes you get to them a bit too late and they've actually, I forgot about you guys, and I've made a decision, I've gone somewhere else. So this sort of stuff can be super powerful, right?
Absolutely, and it's sort of like the older generation, I'll count myself in there at the moment, but it was like the old Sunday night movie where before streaming you'd watch Indiana Jones on Channel 9 at 8:30 and there'd be the same ad running every single ad break, right? And it probably wasn't until the 6th or 7th time that you probably remembered the ad or at least recalled what it was talking about. It's the same thing with advertising. So user experience is always foremost, but the ability to be able to present that relevant ad to the person actively looking is where those two can intersect really nicely together. I do have some examples on screen. So this is, as I said, we work with many different verticals. This is a solar installer who runs, I should say, quite a large solar installation business in San Diego, looking for in-market leads, homeowners, with a specific zip code catchment area, which we're able to run for him. And the result was us being able to deliver in-market leads for him every 24 hours. So what he was able to do was reduce his cost per acquisition, increase the quality of leads, and just increase lead volume overall. And he was, the feedback as well was he was spending a lot less time in the sales process because he wasn't trying to sell to these people as much because they were already in market, right? And he knew that, and he was solving their need at that exact point in time. I've got a few more. There's an e-commerce example. So exactly along the same lines, but this was an online footwear retailer. They were looking to sell running shoes. They were targeting all the major sports labels. So for people looking for running shoes, one of those brands, Nike, Adidas, Puma, and then we were able to provide those leads to that business, who in this case fed that into Meta in particular and TikTok, and sent very targeted or hyper-targeted ads to people looking for running shoes with a great result.
I could see Alice is going into recruitment in the US now. And I thought it was Adidas in the US.
It is Adidas and Puma.
So, you have many more slides? Do you want to go through
I had a travel one, but it's essentially...
Go through the travel one, I think.
It's the same thing. So this one was, these were a digital agency, I should say, who focused on the travel niche and wanted to find travel businesses who were actively searching for lead generation. So we're able to run that search using AI and say, show me any travel business who was actively searching for digital agency. We sent those leads to the digital agency, who miraculously appear as a saviour for a lot of these travel businesses. And you can see here they got a really nice increase in leads closed or deals done because they were speaking to people who were the 3% who were in market. So really effective.
Is there any questions from the audience?
That is the last slide too.
I'll go down here, mate.
Yeah.
Digital marketing at times is pretty tricky, especially in the recent past where people are becoming very cautious in terms of what's hitting, especially when they open up the social media especially. One of the greatest challenges we as an organization face is how we can personalize those marketing strategy when we approach our users or customers. I presume that most of what you talked about is around partnerships, but is there any specific idea or approach which you have kind of come across where you can personalize that marketing strategy and reach to the right audience?
Yeah, absolutely. So with the data that we can extract, we have about 100 data points on the individual showing intent for whatever it may be that they're looking for. And from that, we can then segment. So this is putting my marketing hat on, we can then segment and personalize. So, the example of the solar installer, he only wanted homeowners. So already we're starting to segment and personalize the data. We don't want people who are tenants. commercial property. We're just looking for pure homeowners on a residential level. So we're able to really sort of target and refine who we're searching for. Zip code's another example, geography. There's a whole heap of data points, as I said, over 100. You then need to combine that though with a value proposition. So you've still got to have a great offer. You've still got to be very clear in what you're doing for that person and how you can solve their need. The data or the in-market intent is only that first part, and then we need to combine that with the actual value proposition or strategy.
Hi Simon,
Hello.
I've got a question. Thank you, and this is great. It's really exciting to see new products in this space because it's exploding and it's there's huge potential. I'm interested in your perspective on how we're increasingly moving towards AI for search, and we start to get the answers to our questions from ChatGPT or Copilot. What does that mean for you understanding that in market intent? And also the other side of that, how do you get your message back to me if that's where I'm getting my information rather than through Google search, for example, or is that even happening?
Yeah, so right now our data, maybe to the second part of that, our data is looking at, say, Google, Bing, and other search engines to see where people are showing intent, and that forms part of that 60 billion websites that we're having a look at daily. The first part of that question, I think, is more around user experience as well. So as a marketer or as a brand, I'm just trying to present the best intent or the best communication to what that person needs right now. So at all times, I'm always looking at improving the user experience, and that's how I think AI through something like this is really going to help, because we all scroll through our feed and there's going to be a whole heap of ads there that are completely irrelevant to us, perhaps based on interest-based targeting, but still not relevant to me at that point in time. Tools like this and using AI, I think, starts to bridge that gap a little bit and make it extremely relevant.
Yeah, g'day. I definitely get that in terms of B2C and B2B, but I'm just wondering, have you got any plans, or how would you tackle the government sector?
No plans yet.
I knew you'd have
Nothing.
a tricky one, Brad. I've got a few more down here.
We can
so-
identify decision makers at a government level, but that's about it. Yeah.
Thanks. In what form are the leads actually? What information does the actual business actually get? Is it like name, interest, or what is that?
Yeah, great question. So there are 100 data points on every single profile. So let's say you are a homeowner looking for solar. We'll use that as an example. So first name, last name, address, details. We've got information about your home ownership, if you're a homeowner or not. There's a whole heap of data points there that we can then use to further segment. The data can basically be visualized in a Google Sheet or any sort of data warehouse as such. So it's very simple in the way it can be viewed. And that information then gets fed into the relevant ad platforms as well.
Fantastic. And how is it received by the actual customer?
Yeah, so let's say, for example, I'll just go back. Great question. So let's say you're running a B2C, right? You're targeting consumers. If you're running ads currently, which is our best persona at the moment, we're feeding the data directly into the ads platform. So you're not relying on meta targeting, you're relying on in-market intent. That data is being uploaded as a custom audience, and then you're able to serve the ads directly to the people who are in market. On a B2B level, we also have the ability to map not just the business level, so let's say your job title and your job role, we can actually map you back to your consumer level. Because I'm guessing you haven't signed up to Facebook as an example with your work email, you've signed up with your personal email. So what we're able to do is identify you as the business we want to talk to, but also map you back to a consumer level so I can actually present that ad to you in real time. Sorry.
I had one just on the noise that is created about almost an unsolicited approach for something that you were looking for yourself. And is that also taking up the comment before I wrote down that it's reactive from the customers searching? Is that a failure of search engines in being able to satisfy people with those things? And is there sort of backlash from people being approached unsolicited with those calls. And the next thing that jumps out is that with a number of companies doing the same thing, are people just going to be avalanched with information that are all mining the same data and putting forward their products and causing people to then go incognito on the internet?
There's a few questions there. I'll try to go through most of them if I can remember. But so there is the availability of data. How you use that is limited to a few businesses. And we have a partnership with a data partner here in Australia who provides us access to the data that we're talking about here. That's quite limited at this point in time. I'd actually go back to, Pauline, your question earlier, where I think it's around the user experience. So I think as a marketer, we have a better opportunity to present what you are looking for at this point in time, at the right time. And I think that was actually part of your presentation as well. The other thing too is that in market leads, it's not just one search. We're not just saying you go to Rebel Sport and look for a pair of runners. You've got to show intent over a number of different ways to signal that you are typically or actually in market. So there are a few data points there that we have to cross before we say you're looking for a pair of running shoes. Now, I know there was probably another part to that question.
Oh, about the search engines, but that's okay.
Yep, okay. No, good question.
Any more questions? Olivia, you can yell it out from there.
Go, Liv.
So just sort of leading on from that one, how do you deal with the privacy element of it? As you said, you need quite a bit of intent. I've gone to Rebel 4 or 5 times looking for a pair of shoes, and you identified me enchanted by name and my details and my signal. How do you make sure that you're on that fine line between that's really intense and the privacy elements that come with the data?
Yeah, great question. So from a privacy point of view, we're compliant with CAN-SPAM, CCPA, and all the other regulations within the US. That's the first thing. The other way I like to look at it too, and maybe a different way to answer your question, Liv, is that if I didn't have this data, I'd be relying on Google and Meta to tell me who's got interest in a particular area. And that targeting, as we know, can be broad and often inefficient. So again, what we're doing is we're able to really refine the approach through better signals to create a better user experience for the customer or the business, whoever we're looking to target. Now that may be a marketer's view, but that is definitely sort of the way I look at it, as opposed to receiving perhaps an ad that I'm completely disinterested in.
Yeah, me too. So I'll get lots of new driver ads for my golf game. Thanks, Simon.
That's our data.
Always awesome to have a chat.
Thanks,
If
Mossy.
anyone's interested, please reach out to Simon. He is here all day.